Welcome back. Let's talk about meteorite impacts in Arizona. It happens every once in a while. In fact, there are 167 confirmed meteorite strikes in Arizona. Some in the distant past, some kind of more recently. One impact site, whether it's here or anywhere in the world, it can actually have thousands of pieces of meteorite debris. Sometimes these things hit, a bunch of pieces just get sprayed everywhere. Sometimes as that space debris is coming through the atmosphere, it breaks up and might break up into a bunch of pieces and hit an area. So one particular impact site could have thousands of different pieces. The masses of meteorites that have fell on Arizona range from less than a gram, so just a little bit, up to 30 tons if we're talking Barringer meteorite crater area. The most recent impact was a few years back in Glendale. More on that in just a second. So here's a map of meteorite found locations, just kind of randomly around. So the reason they're found kind of in these areas because these are where people live. Around Tucson, around Phoenix, around Kingman. The reason you don't find, for instance, a lot of meteorite finds up in northern Arizona is just there's a lot of spaces where no one lives, so there's not people there just to pick up stuff that they found. Are they there? Probably. It's just no one's there to just pick it up. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Around the Phoenix area, we've had confirmed meteorite impacts on a very small scale in Chandler, Gila Bend, El Mirage, along the Hasayampa, over in the Bighorn Mountains as well, and the most recent in Glendale. So it's actually kind of a funny / not funny story. So the story is the guy whose property this was, which is the front yard of someone, they went out to get like the mail or the morning paper or something like that. And he looked down and sees this black thing in his mostly white rocks with like granite, xeriscaped rock front yard. And so he looked down and sees this black thing, thought it was poo, went to go kick it, and when he kicked it, he noticed it was kind of hard. So right away, that story, I'm like, wait a minute, why are you kicking poop? Like, who kicks poop? If you think something's poop, you don't kick poop. If you need to pick it up, you get a bag or something. You don't kick poop, you get poop all over your shoe. So I'm a little wary about the story, but that's the story. The guy said, oh, it was poop and I kicked it, but I found it was solid and I looked at it and I picked it up and it kind of looked like a meteorite. I think it was a meteorite, and sure enough, it was a meteorite. So I don't know if that's legit or if this guy just bought one and put it in his front yard so the news would come to his house. Who knows? But there he is on the left. There's the actual meteorite itself. It didn't create any impact, no damage or destruction. He just found it out in the middle of his front yard. You can see it looks like a chondrite made up of little pieces, a stony meteorite. You can see the black, what's called fusion crust with little eggshell cracks on it. Here's another image of it. And then the guy he's with, this duber right here, I forget his name, but he calls himself the Meteorite Man. He doesn't find any. He's just some wealthy dude that buys up a lot of meteorites that people find. So he calls himself the Meteorite Man. He's got his silly little magnifying glass sitting here with his little cowboy hat. The guy is nowhere near a professional. He just has money and buys a lot of them. And unfortunately, he has a private collection. He doesn't have a museum or anything. He just keeps them for himself. So he went down and talked to this guy and bought it off of him. So, when people privately buy individual meteorites, they're just never seen again. The Meteorite Man. So, the most well-known impact that occurred in Arizona is the one that occurred at Barringer Meteorite Crater. It's also known as Meteor Crater. That's the museum name. It's up outside of Flagstaff. Knowing what you know what a meteor is versus what a meteorite is, what's wrong with that name? Anytime I go up to this place, I always tell them, your name's wrong. It shouldn't be Meteor Crater. It should be something else. See if you can figure out what's wrong with that. Again, it's known as the world's best preserved meteorite impact site on Earth, and this is what it looks like. But again, since most likely we're going to have a presentation on this, I won't say too much, but other than show you this picture. And I will say it's actually kind of a cool place to go to. A little expensive to go to, but you know, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's a hole in the ground. They have a little museum that kind of information, and then you can go out and take a look at it. You can't really hike down into it or around the top of it, unfortunately, which might be kind of fun. But yeah, you're just kind of staring at it for the most part. But it's kind of cool, kind of a rare event to happen on Earth, and it's the best one that we got. So we'll go ahead and pause there. When we come back, as with almost everything, we'll talk about some of the benefits of impacts and meteorites. And guess what? It's actually a lot. There's actually a lot of benefits to impact events. So interesting. So we'll pause here. I'll see you back here in a second. And this will be our last video, our last section coming up. See you in a second.